And the Biden administration and the sanctuary city mayors like Lightfoot and now Johnson and many others across the country have doubled down and made the problems far worse for citizens. The destructive Biden administration has opened our southern border to the world, and what comes with them, the problems of the world.
Men, women, and children pushing Mexican soldiers out of the way in an attempt to enter the U.S.
President Reagan did sign the sweeping new Immigration Reform Act today. He said it protects the sacred possession of American citizenship. Millions of illegal aliens will be eligible for amnesty and will be able to apply for legal residency status, no questions asked.
This act by Reagan gave rise to the Mexican drug cartels that infiltrated every major city in America. And over the next 4 decades, we learned this was a mistake. On average, 50,000 people a year die from drug overdoses. But over the past 5 years, 100,000 young Americans are dying every year from overdoses due to the drug cartel's foothold in every American city. And instead of fixing the problem, they chose to ignore this problem and many others. With all the problems we presently have in this country, mass shootings, drugs, gangs, and crime of every type, these idiots in the Biden administration decided to double down on America's pain and problems by inviting South America's problems here. And one of the worst is human trafficking. From 2020 to 2023, over 6 million illegal invaders crossed our borders without the approval of the American people that are grudgingly being forced to pay for them. We have no way to verify their criminal backgrounds, education, or health history. We know absolutely nothing about these people, but the government knows everything there is to know about each and every one of you. The bulk of these illegal aliens are coming from El Salvador, Venezuela, Honduras, Colombia, Nicaragua, Cuba, and a whole host of other countries. These are mostly young men ages 15 to 25. And for every 50 men, there is a mother and a child. They have been lying to you about these immigrants. This is an invasion, mostly by young men. And these men are just walking in, and in some cases flying in, and that are shipped all over the country instead of being deported. The southern border states have been overrun and are now overwhelmed by this invasion and are now in a state of emergency, and the politicians in Washington could care less. In Chicago, the politicians have put well over 2,000 plus invaders into all the Chicago police districts across the city because all the other facilities are full to capacity. The Chicago police districts are not boarding houses or immigration housing centers, and that's just what the politicians have turned them into. Cops are now showing up to work with mountains of garbage piled in front of the districts, and the rat problem has followed. And now cops are getting sick from people that should not be here. They have been exposed to measles, COVID, scabies, and other ailments. This is a kick in the teeth to the CPD and the public from Democrats that have destroyed a once properly functioning immigration system. And they are the sole creators of this crisis. There is no doubt in my mind that some of these families truly need help and are looking for a better life here in America. But this is not the way to do this. The legal immigration process is the right way. This way creates disenfranchised people that will move to crime. This process also is creating a health crisis, massive debt, and will eventually destabilize towns, cities, and states across the country. Reports have been coming in from multiple news agencies claiming that some of the newly arrived people are engaging in male and female prostitution. They are dealing drugs and trying to recruit new gang members for the reimplanted South American gangs. Many have been kicked out of temporary housing because of this. And they will soon become everybody's problem when they find their way into your neighborhoods and police districts. In early August, I went and talked with the immigrants living in the 18th Police District and other districts. And one woman and half a dozen young men told me they came because radio ads in their country were inviting them to come to America. And they told me what else was taking place in their countries of origin, and none of it was good. Every one of them was well dressed, and all of them had new iPhones they were using to interpret our conversations. What shocked me was some of the young men were wearing Santa Muerte figures around their necks and gang tattoos on their bodies. Santa Muerte is the patron saint of death worshipped by the cartels and South American gangs. This indicates to me these guys are no migrant workers coming here for a better life. When I looked into the societal and crime problems in each of these countries, I was shocked at how bad it is. And this gives a preview of what's coming for Americans and the country from this very dangerous open border policy.